Welcome to Subramani. Again, happy Diwali, happy Dhanteras. I would do 1 or 2 episodes like this with this kind of lighting. Maybe I'll do it tomorrow, I'm not very sure. So, one question which I've been asked is why are you so partial towards equity in all your talks? You come out as like a equity bhakt, to borrow a term. From the political side. So first of all, let us understand that the word Bhakt was not given away very easily, right? It was given to Prahlad, it was given to Dhruv, right? So very few people got the title of being a Hanuman, right? They were given Bhakt. Bhakt meant total surrender to and completely being in awe and in love with the gods that you liked. So for Dhruva, it would have been Vishnu, for Hanuman it was Lord Rama, right? So again Vishnu ka avatar. So when if you want to call me an equity bhakt, it has to be a total dedication and surrender to equity. I am not there. I mean, I am there, but I am not there. I can't speak 48 hours of equity the way some of the people seem to be doing on Twitter. But I love equities, there is no doubt about that. Having said that, and having kept it aside as a caveat, let me also think that for a 22-year-old or a 23-year-old, when he or she starts investing, what is the choice? There is absolutely nothing you can choose, largely from my point of view, simply because those are the only things that I know. So I will talk only about that. I am not going to talk to you about how to invest in a mine, how to invest in a horse which can be sent on horse racing. I have no clue. How to invest in oil, I don't know, right? So at best I know people who trade in oil, but investors in oil, I don't know. Should you actually, if you ask me, for a 24-year-old what should he or she do, or a 22-year-old what he or she should do, is to look at business opportunities. Maybe some friend is starting a business you want to join, maybe you have a great business idea, you want to do it, right? All those options, if they are not there, then you come to equity. How should you start with equity? On day one, assuming that you have no equity background, your parents know nothing about equity, they just think, oh, equity, we don't want equity. Equity is something dangerous. Equity is something in which so and so lost money or things like that. Then it is very difficult for you to start in a very big way. So whatever amount you can put away, 500, 1000, 2000, 5000, whatever is your capacity. I'm not even saying 50,000, 1 lakh, though I do see 22-year-olds with 25 lakh CTC. I recently saw one, that's why I'm saying. Those are of course the exceptions, they don't prove the rule. So whatever amount you have to invest, you can invest. Start putting it in an index fund. Don't break your head about which index fund, why that index fund, why not this index fund. Look at one index fund which has got the least tracking error and start investing in that. Once you start investing in that, you will want to you will have the urge to learn, and you will realize that some companies like LMW and Bosch and Procter and Gamble will never ever make it to the index, to make it to any decent sized index. So they will not. So start picking those shares individually and say, okay, I do like them, so I will pick them. One strategy can be, another strategy can be to pick up only those shares which are there in the index. So what you're doing is you're overweighting that sector. Now suppose you have you're investing in the index, but you like Hindustan Unilever and you buy more and more shares of Hindustan Unilever. Now if Hindustan Unilever is 5% of the index, let's say, and you are buying it separately, it means you're overweighting the index. You're buying more and more of Hindustan Lever. So totally in your net worth, Hindustan Lever could be 6% of your portfolio instead of 5% as it would have been in the index, which is okay. As long as you stick to shares within the index, you are doing active management, because bulk of your money is going into an index fund, but you're picking shares within the index fund. So you find that there is a company which you don't want to touch in the index, fine, it's still being bought in the index. So, and you are also buying it directly. Now suppose you think that the pharma industry is going to do well, so you pick up those shares in the index which are pharma. So if you pick up, say, say Sun Pharma is there in the index, you pick up more and more of Sun Pharma, because you have said I will only do direct investing. And in direct investing, one very important rule is to stick to those good quality shares that you can identify, who have had a long run and who are there, who are perhaps likely to be there for a longer period than many other shares which may not be there. So the advantage is your quality of your portfolio is very high. The other thing you can do, like I said earlier, is to pick up those shares which will never come into the index. You can do that. That's a contrarian view to what I said earlier. When I said earlier, I said you could do buying in the index, by which you are overweighting some sectors. You need to understand how much you are overweighting. It can't be excessive overweighting. Then you start buying other shares. So you bought Sun Pharma, you're happy with it, that's fine. Then you find that TCS has fallen or TCS has not gone up. Then you reason to yourself that, oh, the dollar is getting stronger, so TCS will do well, so you go and buy TCS. That's fine. But you can't buy a happiest mindset or something like that, because it's not there in the index. You promise yourself that you will pick up only from the index. The contrarian theory to that is to say, okay, let me look at those companies in the economy which are doing very well, but they will never reach the index. So let me buy Bosch, let me buy an LMW, let me buy a Procter and Gamble, right? So these are industries which are actually represented in the index, but their market cap or their number of transactions or their impact cost just not allow them to ever reach the index. So I will buy them independently. That's also a way to invest. But all of this leads you to only one thing, two very important things rather. One is you should start investing in an index. That's the way to start. There is no other way. Like if you have a savings bank account, that's the way to start. So similarly, you have a index fund and you learn to pick stocks. You learn to pick stocks over a long period of time, because it takes you 30 years to build a 50 share portfolio, because you will buy one, keep one. Some you may not like, you may sell it off. So you shouldn't buy more than 1 or 2 stocks a year. Initially it could be a little faster, and later on you should be very miserly with your check and be very liberal with your time. So you sit, you analyze, you decide whether to buy, not to buy, whether to keep, or some reasons why it should be sold off, right? So you keep doing all that and you pick up stocks, you learn stock picking, and that is the way you create your wealth, you create your portfolio. Because I mean, I've just done a video saying why you should be investing at all. Now we are just talking what you should be investing. So by doing all this, you create a good index portfolio, because you're putting X amount every month, and you create a good equity portfolio which you're buying 1 or 2 shares every year, right? That's what you're buying. And then you may find some reason why some share is not worth buying, so you get rid of it. Initially, it is possible that you look at some very good shares and you say, oh, I can buy a lot more. So you keep buying. And remember that, like you're doing an SIP in an index fund, you can do SIP even in the share that you have bought. Let's say you bought LMW, and you can buy 1 LMW every month, or you can buy 2 LMW every month, depending on your budget, right? So if you have that kind of money, you start building your portfolio and you start doing your index fund. You learn, then you may want to add some small cap index fund, some large cap index fund. You keep adding. Another use of this index fund is to treat it exactly like your savings bank account, right? Suppose you've got 5 lakhs lying in your savings bank account and somebody gives you a check of 60,000. Do you say, no, I will not take the check, I already have 5 lakhs in the bank? No, it is irrelevant, right? To that person, it is irrelevant. He has done some work with you and he thinks or she thinks that they have to pay you, so she gives you a check of 50,000 rupees. You will go and deposit it in the bank. Exactly like that, you should have a index fund account, which should be the least tracking error index fund. I do not know which one it is. At one stage it was Franklin Templeton, at one stage it was HDFC, at one stage it was UTI. So go and find out an index fund with the least tracking error. After you have invested, don't bother too much, because the least tracking error or the least cost will keep changing. I am not advocating that. Having bought that, let us say you bought an Invesco index fund. Whenever you have money, keep dumping into it, right? You go and see your savings bank account, you got 3 lakhs extra and you don't need it immediately, just jump it into that. What will happen is, over a period of time, that will also be like your emergency fund, simply because you've been investing in it for the last, say, 7, 8, 10 years. then there is no, it doesn't really matter at what price you sell. And in case of an emergency, if there is no emergency, your money is growing at a good rate, right? So do that, treat that like a typically how you'll treat a savings bank account. Whenever you have money in your SB account, transfer it to that. Obviously you should be doing this online. You will not have time to call somebody, fill up a form, no way. Obviously you're going to do it online. So online you will go and you will transfer this money into your index fund on a regular basis. Whenever and when you need money, you withdraw. So treat it like your savings bank account, and this is how you start investing. Thank you, and happy Diwali. May it bring you a lot of prosperity, and have a great year ahead. Thank you.